I made a tumbler for my friend and I can't wait to show you how to make it because it turned out so cool. I absolutely love neon and black together and I'm gonna show you every step of how to make this tumbler. If you make one similar, make sure you post it and tag me on Instagram because I love to see all of your amazing creations. Let's go ahead and get started. For this cup, I am starting with the Neon Flippin' Awesome paints from the CrystaLac Company. There is a pink, orange, a yellow, and a green that I'm going to use for this tumbler. And you want to make sure that you prep and base coat your tumbler first. They do work best over a white base or universal gray. This particular cup was prepped and base coated with universal gray. And I'm going in with the blush brushes to ombre my paints. They really do a good job of blending together when you use the blush brush. These brushes are from the CrystaLac Company, but you can also get a similar brush that's a little bit smaller from the Dollar Tree. So basically I wanted it to be in 4 sections for each of the 4 colors, and I wasn't too concerned about blending them because I am going to cover the cup with glitter. However, the glitter I'm going to use is iridescent, which means it's a little bit see-through. So you do want it to look semi-decent because it will show through once you put your glitter on. So I only did 1 coat of the paint, but you could do 2. And I'm using neon glitters, Tango, Bubblicious, Limemade, and Lemon Drop from Glitzy Kreations. I will link those underneath this video with a discount code. I brushed on my Grande Finale and I'm just going to sprinkle on my glitter, kind of combining it as I can. And you can do this while your cup is spinning or you can hold it. It's sometimes a little bit easier to get some control when you hold your tumbler. But basically I'm just going and moving my hand closer and further away to get these colors to blend. I ended up taking it off the turner and tilting my tumbler just a little bit to get full coverage. Once that's dry, we got to go through the process of getting it smooth. I'm not going to go through each step here, but I will link a video in the top right corner that takes you through these steps a little bit slower. But basically, you're going to seal with glitter glue, flatten, and do your coats of Grande Finale and sand after a few coats. And you're going to keep going with that process of your coats of Grande Finale and sanding until you have a smooth surface. I am going to be doing a power wash here, so I want to make sure that I have a smooth surface before I do anything because I am going to be applying vinyl. So again, every 3 or 4 coats of Grande Finale, you're going to give it a light sand. After usually about 2 sands, I've got a smooth tumbler and I'm ready to move on with the process. So I am using removable vinyl to add my friend's name to this tumbler. I created the images and the fonts in Silhouette Studio. I used the varsity font that I will link under this video, and I've got my transfer tape from Craft Haven that I really like. The tumblers are there as well, and I'm just going to apply my removable vinyl before I do my power wash. You don't want to use permanent vinyl because it can pull up any of your top coat because it's just so sticky. So removable vinyl is your best bet. So once you get that on, you're going to do the power wash. And I've got a full tutorial linked, but remember you want to do a few coats of clear spray paint first, let that dry, add your power wash, and then right away add your spray paint. And then I'm going to remove that removable vinyl once it is dry. I did let it dry for about a day before I went in to take off this vinyl, and let it dry a full 48 hours before you go into the next step. All right, before we go any further, I had to hop in here. This power wash didn't turn out that great, right? I'm not gonna pretend like everything I do is amazing because it just wasn't. I didn't get great coverage, and then I did a second coat, and I ended up deciding that instead of taking it all off and trying again, I was just gonna remove some of the spray paint so I could still use it, and I actually really like how it turned out. So let me show you how I fixed the bad power wash and then how I continued up with this tumbler. If you want to see a full tutorial on how to do the power wash, I'm going to link it in the top right corner. So for this tumbler, I needed to remove some of the spray paint because I just didn't get great coverage the first time. I basically went in and did the power wash twice, and it just covered too much of that neon paint. So I'm taking that 91% alcohol and a paper towel and just wiping away some of the spray paint. I actually really like how it turned out because it gives it more of a distressed look. But again, this, hopefully you won't have to do this part because you do your power wash well the first time. Again, I will link a tutorial of how to make sure that you do that. But just kind of removing away some of that paint, I wanted to show you that you can always fix any mistakes that might come up. So then I needed to add the vinyl, but before I do that, I always do 2 or 3 coats of Grande Finale before I add any vinyl. Your transfer tape can very well pull up that spray paint, and it will pull up the spray paint, so you want to protect it with a few coats of your Grande Finale. I used the offset and subtract feature in Silhouette Studio to create the original removable vinyl, and then this outline that I'm using, reflective opal vinyl from Craft Haven. And I will link a tutorial, but let me know in the comments if you want me to go through that process of how to actually create those outlines. I do have another video where it is. So then you need to go through the process of finishing up this tumbler by adding a few coats of Grande Finale, sanding just over the decal after those 3 or 4 coats, and then you can also sand, any other imperfections that you might have. And then you want to make sure that you clean your tumbler before you keep going. I'm using the surface conditioner, but you could also just use a damp paper towel with water to clean off any of that dust. And you're going to go through the process of getting that tumbler smooth and shiny to use. So let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want the full power wash tutorial, I am going to link it on your screen. It is such a fun way to add texture to your tumblers.